I will ask the question then. So it's written in the chat, Shalom Rabbi. What is Torah study in Noahide point of view? What Judaism allows us to read, to study. I don't have a teacher rabbi, and I don't have a friend or chaver to study with. I depend on Chabad, Torah.org, Noahide World Center, and listening classes from you and some other great rabbis like you. Is it okay to do it like this?
So I spoke about this question a little bit earlier, that there is a range of views when it comes to what is appropriate for Noahides to study. I take the view which says that virtually everything in Torah is appropriate for Noahides to study. I'm not a big fan of Noahide studying Kabbalah, for example, for many reasons. I'll just tell you that I am way past 40 years of age. I'm now over 70, and I tried studying Kabbalah for a number of years, and I just totally don't understand it. So most people who are studying Kabbalah probably do not understand what they're studying. If they do, they're probably not studying Kabbalah from a kosher source. I'm convinced that there are much, much, much more important things for not just Noahides, but for Jewish people to study. It's basically an advanced area of study for people that are grounded in quite a few other areas of Torah study. So I don't advocate that Noahides grab onto every topic in the world to study. I'm not a big fan of Noahide studying Talmud, although they can certainly study passages from the Talmud. But in general, my perspective is that virtually everything in the Torah, especially secondary and tertiary sources, is permissible. So any book, any Jewish book would be fine. And almost anything from the Torah, from the Tenach. And, again, sections from the Talmud certainly would be appropriate. If you have access to the Chabad book called the Divine Code, so there they basically take this perspective, which is that virtually everything is acceptable for B'nai Noach to study. And so the Talmud's suggestion is that a person should study what their heart desires. So now, sometimes our hearts don't desire to study what we should be studying. So, for example, I just mentioned character development and perfection of character. That in Hebrew is called Mussar, Mussar, or Musar. I believe that that everyone, Jews and non-Jews, have a responsibility to study this kind of literature. I'll just recommend one book here, two books, just as an introduction to this field. There's an author named Alan Marinis, Morinis, and he has an introduction. That's the book I was going to recommend. So his book called Everyday Holiness is a wonderful introduction to Mussar study, a wonderful introduction. And there's a more introductory book to that he wrote called Climbing Jacob's Ladder. So this is a massive field. There's a tremendous amount of Torah literature dealing with development of our character traits. I mean, more than most of us have a lifetime to study, more that's available. And so, you have more advanced books like the Mesilat Yesharim, The Pathways of the Upright, which is the Bible, really, of Mussar study. It's very, very difficult, but it's accessible. It's a little bit scary because you see what kind of a high level is possible for us to achieve. But I would say that there are people who avoid studying Mussar. They avoid it because it's demanding. It demands a lot of what we do with our lives. And, many people just don't want to have the challenge. So I would say that's being irresponsible. I would say that we should study those things that our heart desires. So, for example, if a person really enjoys Tanakh, and Tanakh study, I would say go for it. If you want, by the way, a great recommendation for Tanakh study, I recommend Aleph Beta, Alephbeta, I think it is. Rabbi Foreman, Foreman. But there are other places. There are so many amazing resources for Tanakh study. So if you love studying Tanakh, I would say go for it. Go for it. Any part of Torah that you happen to be attracted to, study it. Especially if it's the kind of Torah that is going to help you grow in your relationship with Hashem and will help you grow in your personal development. Those are really the two main areas of life that we need to focus on. Torah study is not simply an intellectual exercise. It's not just a way of having a good time intellectually. The two main goals are to use Torah study as a means to get closer to our Creator and as a way of helping us perfect our character traits. And I think that any Noahide, there's enough Torah there to help you grow in those two areas.
Thank you.